So we've been having a conversation about Anna. It's been an ongoing conversation, and here is the next development in this. Arslan says, top two this patch, Bryan Fury and Anna. And this follows a long list of others who also said the exact same thing. Probably like a month ago now, we had that interview that Nee did in Korean, and basically what he said is the top 5 characters in the game is Asuka, Raven, Anna, Alyssa, and Panda. Notice he leaves out Bryan Fury. A lot of people were on his line about that. Nee has been guilty of downplaying his character. I mean, we all do from time to time. But the point that we want to highlight on right now is Anna Williams. I believe Ulsan also said Anna Williams is the strongest character in the game. And it's really interesting how that is, right? I personally think the DLC has gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. If you think of how powerful Eddie was on launch versus how powerful Lydia, then Heihachi, then Clive, right? We start to get stronger and stronger. Then Anna. If you look at it that way, what is Fakaram going to do? Who knows? You know, a interesting part of this conversation as well is what the animains are saying about their own character. The animains are saying that Anna's no big deal. She's no big deal. She's not strong at all. And everyone just needs to lap the matchup, right? And not just for the animains, but I think when any player does that, especially in the season 2 environment, it's very, I want to say, dishonest. You have the meme of this is why we ended up with season 2, because people like just downplay their characters and they come up with ridiculous arguments to defend their character. Something that I've always said, don't defend the character, defend the identity of the character. This is what I like about Bryan Fury and Dragunov Mains. They were very open in saying, yeah, our characters is powerful. Dragunov Mains said it, and that's the weird thing. When Dragunov Mains agreed and everyone agreed, but they still allowed him to be powerful for a whole year and a half, crazy. But then the Bryan Fury mains, some of them were downplaying, but then you also have some others who were saying, this is really powerful. It's ruining the identity of the character. Please take it away. That is what we should be doing. Protect the identity of the character. You know, if your character is a turtle, if your character is a rushdown, if your character is a poke, if your character is a counter hit, protect that, not the power they were given in a bad update. And I see the animates doing that a lot. And just with considering how powerful their character is, I mean, it's not at all what we should be doing. Because the reason why I highlight this now is because the developers are listening. They're trying to find out what the players want. And if you have a lot of people downplaying and a lot of people, you know, making false arguments of like how safe or how easy it is to defend against something, it's going to make the developers think that it's okay. But also, that's what a lot of people's goal is. A lot of people want to be carried by the stuff. They could care less about balance. In a normal environment, that's perfectly fine. It's human nature. But in the environment of season 2, when you literally have a lot of people quitting the game and every character is pretty much A tier hovering or S tier hovering in that A plus, it's like kind of ridiculous. If we don't say stop, if the developers don't say stop, who is going to say stop and save the game? You got to make a sacrifice if you want to still play Tekken and if you want Tekken to be a fun game. But the next part in this conversation that I want to show you guys is this tweet. We all agree that Anna is probably the strongest character in the game, but is Anna stronger than T7 release Leroy and Fakaram? This person on Twitter says y'all are not ready for this convo. Do you think she's that powerful? See, I'm a Yoshimitsu main, and Yoshimitsu in Tekken 7 was able to defend against Leroy, defend against Fakaram. It was tough, but it was possible. Anna, you cannot defend against her. I kind of want to say yeah, but I also don't know if it's recency bias. And I also don't know if it was my character. Yoshimitsu could fight off Leroy. He could fight off Fakaram. Yoshimitsu cannot fight off this Anna. And I don't know if any character can. The main difference with her versus Leroy and Fakaram is that the developers kind of lay the foundation for you. They kind of paved the road. All you have to do is walk it. Atif does an excellent job of walking it, you know, and what I mean by that is she has stances that all naturally flow into one another. And if you just do those stances, your opponent stands no chance of surviving. And with Leroy and Fakaram, yes, Leroy, it was more so Fakaram who was like the season 2 version where he had like stances where you just had to do the stances and it kind of worked. But even then, his stances had limitations, like how risky they were. Like if you did the wrong stance with Fakaram, your opponent will block you and you're launch punishable. With Anna, you're not really launch punishable. When you block her, it seems like she just keeps going through it. She just keeps on going through the stances and it doesn't matter at all, right? And that's the main thing with season 2 is like the opponent will block, but it doesn't feel like it because they're still attacking you. They're still going. Like Captain America, I could do this all day. You have to do something really, really stupid to finally get blocked and launch in this game, but specifically with Anna. So I don't know. I kind of want to say, yeah, she's stronger than launch Leroy and launch Fakaram. But at the same time, I don't know. You know what the biggest difference between the two are? Anna exists in a game where every character is broken. Leroy and Fakaram existed in a game where there were probably like 4 or 5 characters who were somewhere on their level, right? A Kuma, a Geese, even though those characters took a lot of execution, they were someone on a level. Marduk, Julia, kinda not really on their level, but it was like in the ballpark. With Anna, there's a lot more characters who could do what she do, so that is what makes it not as like shocking. That's why you don't see as many Annas in a tournament, because why would you drop your character, learn Anna when you could play Clive, when you could play Asuka? She may be stronger than Launch Leroy and Fakaram, but when you compare the rosters that they're fighting against, Anna has tougher competition than Leroy and Launch Fakaram did. I think that's a good way to break it down. Someone responds to this and says, we really forgot how strong release Leroy and Fakaram was. You know one thing about Fakaram, and this is Fergus, by the way, one of the best Asukas on the planet who says this. But you know what I was going to say about Fakaram? He was a flawed character. His hitbox made him even more stronger than he was supposed to be. Yes, he was supposed to be the strongest character in the game, but with your ability to miss his head in combos and his feet and poking, it made him a monster. I don't know, but the fact that we're still having this conversation, right? We really fought hard against pay to win DLC, because you can also throw Kunimitsu into the conversation as well. We fought so hard against pay to win DLC, and the Tekken developers are just at it. And when you think about Fakaram, I understand why players fear the Season 2 Tekken 8 Fakaram. I understand, because the pay to win is just the future. You know what I think, though? I think Street Fighter does a very good job with their DLC. Not only in terms of making them all unique, you talk about how different Bison is from Akuma, from Ed, so unique. We have all of these DLC characters and all of them are basically stance rushdown. It's so bad, man. So that's one reason why I like Street Fighters, because of how uniquely designed their gameplay is. But then also what I love about Street Fighter is how they're not all so broken. So how far is this? Clive is number 1. So 1, 2, 3, Anna's number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lydia's number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Heihachi's 11, Eddie's 12. So you have all of the DLC in the top 12 most deadliest characters in the game. And by the way, this is advanced ranks. Basically, what I was going to say is that, Tekken 8 does a lot of pay to win DLC shenanigans. Going back to the character Anna, Fakaram, and what the developers need to do to fix this game, it's a tall task, but it's not impossible. Whenever Tekken failed, it came back stronger.